Hi, Mr. Traeger here. I'm talking about myth number 2 in our series on the myths of sexuality. And myth number 2 says if you're a virgin, you're strange or weird. So we're going to be talking about this idea of virginity. And so we want to take a look at this word. Just a second. Hello? Yeah. No, I'm not doing a whole lot right now. No, I'm making a sex video. No. I mean, no, that came out way wrong. No, I've told you about the doing the vodcast things, that where I'm talking about, and we're in the. No, seriously, no. Listen. I've told you. Oh my gosh, no. You misunderstood what. All right, Mom. I'll have to talk to you later. Okay, I can explain this later. All right. I love you. I'll talk to you later, Mom. Bye. Whew. Well, that might make Thanksgiving dinner a little awkward. So, what was I saying? Back to what I was talking about, virginity. All right. So what I did was I kind of looked into the definition of what virginity really means. And what I found the definition for virginity means to have never had sexual intercourse. And I thought, okay, that's a good definition. But I wanted to go a little bit further and say, okay, what does it mean to have sexual intercourse? What is that? So I dug a little bit further, and sexual intercourse means having sexual relations. And I thought, okay, well, that's good, but what does that mean, sexual relations? And so then I looked a little further, and the definition of sexual relations is any sexual activity between individuals. Okay, so the next question that comes into my mind is, what is sexual activity? So, sexual activity is basically comprised of 4 different types of behaviors. Now, bear with me; it's going to get a little goofy right here. All right, so I guess you could call it a disclaimer, a warning, whatever you want to talk, whatever you want to say. But we're going to talk about some sexual behaviors here. All right. So the first type of behavior that would constitute sexual activity is what we call vaginal intercourse. All right. And vaginal intercourse simply means sexual penetration of the vagina. All right. So that's our first, I guess, sexual activity. The second one is what we call anal intercourse. And what anal intercourse is any kind of sexual penetration of the anus. The next kind of sexual activity is what we call oral sex. Now, a lot of you may have heard of this before, and simply what oral sex means is any stimulation of the genitals using the mouth. And then lastly is what we call digital sex. And it's not looking on the internet or anything like that. I know it kind of sounds that way. But what digital sex means is any stimulation of the genitals using your hands or fingers. These are called digits. All right, and that's where we get the term digital in this in this reference. All right, and so with those 4 types of sexual behaviors, we're going to ask ourselves then, well, what does it mean to be a virgin then? Now that we know that virginity means to not have engaged in sexual activity, what does it mean to be a virgin? And so the I guess textbook definition of what a virgin is simply stated as a person who's never had sex before, all right, or has never engaged in sexual activity before. And so that's where we get that term virgin or virginity from, is it has to do with basically being, even in the dictionary, it talks about being pure, it talks about being unused is an actual word that was used in the dictionary. But that's what a virgin means, all right? So, how many times do you have, or how many shots do you get at giving away your virginity? Because really, you don't lose it. A lot of times we talk about losing our virginity, and it's not like you wake up one morning and it's like your keys or your wallet is just gone. Like, I know I went to bed last night and I set it right here, and now it's gone. All right, that's not really how it works. I mean, you choose to give it away. I mean, and you get one shot at it, basically in terms of losing your virginity. You only give it away one time, and after that one time, it's different. All right, and I can guarantee you the first time that you have sex, regardless of when that is, whether that's on your wedding night, whether that's you know some other time in your life, you're going to remember that experience. All right, and for some people it's a good experience, for some people it's a horrible experience, and that's something that you have to think about in terms of this idea of virginity, and think about this idea of when is it the right time for me to engage in any kind of sexual behavior, and that's what we're going to spend some time talking about in class. Now, what happens if, I guess that's the next question. What happens if, or but what if, I've already given it away? What if I've already done this? What if I've had a lapse in judgment, or I've just simply made a decision? I didn't really realize, kind of what I was getting into. I got caught up in the moment. But what if I've already done this? Does that mean that it doesn't really matter anymore? And sometimes people will use that I guess mentality that I've already done it once, so what's the big deal? All right. The big deal is that you can always say no to not having sex anymore. All right. You don't have to keep engaging in that same risky behavior. You can always choose to stop. And we call that term secondary virginity. All right. It's kind of like a second chance. All right. Um, and what that means is that you're making that conscious decision that, yeah, I've done this before, but I'm not going to do it anymore. All right. Yeah, it's not the same as being a virgin. I mean, we can't ever go back to exactly how we were before we had sex. But we can give it another shot. We can make that decision to say, you know what, it's just not for me. I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep putting myself at risk for pregnancy and disease and reputation issues and all those kinds of things. And so you always have that opportunity to be able to say no from that point on. All right. So real quick, back to our myth. If you're a virgin, you're strange, you're weird. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's weird to have a teenager walking around pregnant in high school? Do you think it's kind of weird having a teenager that's taking an antiviral medication because they got HPV or because they got genital herpes? Do you think it's kind of weird that their parents sit them down and start questioning them about their sexual decision making because they found out that they're sexually active with their boyfriend or girlfriend? To me, that sounds a lot more weird than just making a healthy decision to stay away from all that garbage. All right, so I would actually say it's weird not to be a virgin. So that's our phrase of the day. It's weird not to be a virgin because why not make a decision to be normal and not have to worry about all those things that other people worry about that have decided to become sexually active. So, phrase of the day today is it's weird not to be a virgin. All right? So you make some healthy decisions, make some healthy sexual decisions, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in class tomorrow. All right? We'll catch you then.